Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Geomologist Presents. Today, I'm going to start a series of unboxings. I've accumulated a few packages. Don't worry, I'm not going to do them all at once, but I've been excited to share this product at some point, but it's just been, I don't know, motivation has been a challenge to get these boxes done. So now I have a pile. So here we go, the first of a series of unboxings. This first box comes from Publisher Services in Suwanee, Georgia. The box is 1.5, 1.5 foot, so 12.5 inches, about 32 centimeters by 1 foot, 31 centimeters. It is relatively thick, not an envelope, and it is about 4.5 inches or 11 centimeter thick. Here is the box. As you look at the dimensions. And here is my trusty box cutter to open it. I cut away, but not too deep. Open the guy up. And here we go. Oh, it's backwards. It is the Imperium Maledictum starter set. I'm pretty excited to get this new version of what was once Dark Heresy, Rogue Trader, Only War, Black Crusade. I'm looking at my Death Watch series of games set in the game design workshop Warhammer 40K universe for role playing. Imperium Maledictum is the new one, and this is a starter set. So get started playing Imperial Maledictum. Heresy corruption have taken root in the Macarian sector, a teeming expanse of industrious worlds in the God Emperor's Imperium of Man. The fate of the entire sector lies in doubt. Powerful individuals from across the Imperium's factions and their agents vie for control against dark cults, traitors, demons, and wild xenos who lurk and shrouded in the ever-encroaching darkness. In the grim darkness of the 41st millennium, can you do what you must to survive? So this starter set contains everything needed to begin your grim and perilous Warhammer 40K experience. The Blazing Seraph, learn the core rules as you play this dark and dangerous inquisitorial adventure. Walk hard, the guide to the hive, and 6 exciting pre-generated characters to choose from, helpful rule references, sheets, etc., etc. So I'm going to open this up and show you what we got. I don't know if I'll get close-ups, but I think since I didn't have like a normal real background, it probably won't be an issue. So the box is shrink wrapped, as you saw. Here's the Imperium Maledictum starter set. It's a good, I've always liked Cubicle 7 in their box. It's a very sturdy. And they also have like almost like a dice tray inside that you can roll on, which is kind of cool. And then of course the art. I think the dice tray shows like almost like a, like a heads-up display of the hive from our perspective. So it's got a couple dice, which is nice. It's like dice, that kind of cool color. As you can see, sort of like a neat sort of sea blue green type of color. It's pretty cool. And then it says read this first. So it's like a foldy flat thing here. Read this first. If I open it, kind of gives an introduction about what is the 41st millennium, an overview of the Macarian sector, and what do I need to play, what do I need to get started. And then there is the core book, which is the Imperium Maledictum core book, which I have on my shelf. And then the natural follow-up to the Blazing Seraph is Chemical Burn, which I actually do have. You can get it to drive through as a PDF. And then the GM screen, which I think I have, because it kind of neat. It has like a collection of non-player characters, and I think a random adventure generator, which is kind of cool. So this has like the adventure. Right here is a list of what it has. The adventure, a kind of a snapshot of the rules in a way. Character sheets, patron and party sheet, the dice and reference sheets as well. and tokens. So it has tokens for play at the table. So this is kind of be a really neat introduction. And then next in the box are all the characters, which I will kind of get out. And we will study them in a little bit. Let me show you the tokens. So here are the tokens that you can use. They have tokens for cover, for hazards, barriers, and probably, I'm assuming the player characters that they have in here. I'm pretty sure it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters at least. 1, 2, 3. I hope it has 6. That'd be kind of bad. It said 6 regenerated characters, right? So we'll see. We'll see about that. So sister, well, I'll get out the character sheets and show them to you. Let's look at the reference sheets first. So here's a basic reference sheet here. So test success levels, what they mean, opposed tests as well, superiority, advantage, and disadvantage, and what those rules are. It's a two-sided document there. Combat reference sheet here. I guess you could throw these out at the table and refer to them, and you not have to open the book as much. The combat reference sheet here, it has actions on the back, hit locations, which is kind of cool, engage, critical stumbles, zones, range, turns and rounds, and how that works. So attacking, roll to hit, challenge 0, determine hit location, deal damage, deal wounds. So there you go. Pretty straightforward. So in a way, I guess these are sort of player character screens, critical wounds and reference sheet, and how that works. Right, so it's pretty simplified from Warhammer fumbles in the back, healing wounds and injuries, which was nice. You don't have to flip through a book. Conditions and environmental. It's a sci-fi game-ish, right? Technomancy in the far future. Environmental traits, barriers, covers, hazards, poorly lit, etc. So even has lighting, like difficult terrain, what obscured means, and then all the different conditions that you might have. Ablaze, bleeding, blinded, deafened, fatigued, frightened, incapacitated, poisoned, prone, restrained, stunned, and unconscious. So there you go. Factions and influence. So it has the Telepathica, the Mechanicus, Administratum, Militarium, Ministerium, and the Inquisition. Imperial Fleet, Rogue Trader Dynasties, and Factions. And then influence. I guess there's an influence mechanic as well. Warp and Psychers reference sheet. Yes, this is probably, I wonder if this is everything that's on the GM screen. I should look. But what happens if there are peril of warp or psychic phenomenon? Now I do, so, right, so it is a roll to cast and for Psychers in this game. And if you fail, you get a perils of the warp. Yeah, or there are other things that can happen. I think if you roll doubles, it used to be that you can get psychic phenomenon. You can group your warp charge. You can increase the warp charge that you pull in, and that can increase the perils of the warp and psychic phenomenon. I thought it was always kind of right. So how do you do psychic powers? You make a difficulty of the psychic mastery test, usually challenging. Make a mastery test against the difficulty. You gain a warp charge equal to the warp rating of the power. If you fail, you gain an additional warp charge from the negative. You succeed on the test, apply the effects. So it's kind of like channeling in a way, it seems. Oh, if you have sustained powers, then the warp charge keeps going up. And oh, they have like a how to counterspell, which is nice as well. Deny the witch. And you have to purge occasionally. If not, then you suffer the perils of the warp, or that becomes increasingly difficult to not have the warp manifest. Now, I know in other versions of the game, they used to have ways to eliminate that through like talents. So I don't know. That's something that's gonna. I appreciate a player. So, for example, my Warhammer Fantasy game, one of the players has not taken those sort of talents and or whatever, because I mean it's 100 points of talent, generally speaking, and it increases as you gain in power. And he'd rather have spells than prevent the warp effects or the chaos effects of Warhammer Fantasy. So I guess it's a player choice, but it's more fun when weird stuff happens, truth be told, right? You get to run these quick tables or these psychic phenomenon tables. Trading and gear reference sheet is kind of nice. It has a chart for the melee weapons and stuff on the back as well. So it has melee weapons, augmetics, ranged, grenades is nice. different things that can be used, from children's kit to a grapple launcher and a las cutter, armor, and medical care that you might need. So that's kind of cool. So what that would entail, or how that would be the bonus. All right, so we will. Oh, so I'll look at the back cover, which is again, it's like a map, which is nice. So instead of in the interleaves or the end sheets of the books, we have here on the box set, they have like a map of the Marturian sector. I'm sure that's it. But again, it can be used as a dice tray, or just leave it at the table, or maybe, which is kind of nice. So let's see. Let's check out the character sheets. So they're trifolds. If you've seen a Cubicle 7 starter sets before, like the Warhammer Fantasy set that I'm looking at, I think that's the only other Cellbound set. There are these kind of trifold sheets that have the picture. So this is Sister Helza here. They have the character picture, and there's a token for her. And who she is, like a bio for her, for scorn, like little quotes that she might use, so the character can get a feel for what she is like. Sister Helza Scorn, that's her whole name. And the character sheet explanation on one side, and then the actual character sheet here in the middle. So she is she has a bonus. Oh, influence for the Adeptus Ministorum. So I guess it's a tracking, kind of faction tracking. What is she? I guess she is I want to say she has a chainsword and a flame and a knife. I'm trying to figure out what is she? Maybe she just is. I don't know if there's like classes or whatever, but she's faithful to the Imperial cult. She seems to be versed in theology. So maybe she is Adeptus Ministorum, maybe that's the faction she is. So like a police. All right. Oh, here we go. Eidolon. Oh, interesting. Okay, so they do have it looks like they do have an icon or a token for him, Eidolon, as well. I didn't recognize it. He must be it says the Penumbra. What is that? He says okay. The Penumbra. And what is he? He's from the Inquisition, I guess. I don't know exactly what these guys are, who they are. They have the characteristics, but I don't see like a class thing anywhere, or right. So they just are, I guess. He looks like maybe an Adeptus or Arbites. He might be. Oh, okay. So drawing a lifetime training as a penumbra, whatever that is. Stealthy professional operator. Okay. So maybe on the bio, it kind of tells what they are. Helza is a zealot in a social situation. She's a role of zealot, and he is a training as a penumbra. That must be there. And some Wilkes, who's Wilkes Garn here, and Wilkes is an interlocutor. So administrator, basically. Here's Wilkes. So Penumbra, interlocutor, zealot. Rita von Mard is a mystic, so they have their own psyker here. And there's a character sheet as well. So it's a pretty good character sheet, actually, right? It has a it seems like I haven't really done a deep dive, truth be told, of this particular game. But it seems to me like it'll run percentile dice-based system with the success levels that you get. I guess I could look at one of these, like your basic reference sheet, right? This basic rules. So you roll a test. 96 to 0 is all the failures. 1 to 5 is success. There's difficulties. There's a routine, challenging, routines plus 20, challenging plus 0, hard is minus 20. So they have ranging from very easy at plus 60 to very hard at minus 30. And then there's an outcomes table. So for the majority of tests, you roll an opposed test, And then you use success levels. You subtract the tens digit in the result of it. The tens digit of the skill being tested. The higher the SL, the better the outcome. So you know, +5 or more SL is astounding, -5 or less astounding failure. So that's how you do a pose test as well. If who does the better success level, that looks like. So, and then when you have an advantage, you can choose to reverse the tens, and disadvantage, you must reverse the tens. So like basically flip to fail or flip to succeed, if you're familiar with Zweihander. That's kind of the mechanic there, which is kind of interesting. So yeah, the winner is a character for the highest SL wins. So very, very similar to Warhammer Fantasy, which is cool. I'm sure they've retreaded and simplified things. Oops. So who else we got? We got Cassium Calibus. It looks like he is a Mechanicus, Adeptus Mechanicus. You can see him here. And here is the character sheet. Right. So who is Cassium? He's a savant. So Mystic Savant. Okay, there's what they are. So maybe they have Intercoluder, it's Vilcus, Penumbra, I said for Eidolon, and then Zealot for the sister. And then the last one, Ali Tanaran here. Looks like some sort of a warrior. So there you go. See, it must have like probably like a class and a background. I think maybe like what your career was, and then your sort of class and your designation, right? So las gun, las pistol, sword, nice. Astra Militarum, ex-military, probably the black armor as well. So pretty neat. So there you go. Those are the classes or the character sheets. There are 6 of them. It looks like they do each have a token as well, which is kind of nice. So you can run that at the table if you do, you know, whether you do theater of the mind or not. You know, as well, or somehow my video went off. There we are. It's like if I accidentally tap the computer, the video goes off, which is kind of funny. All right. So those are those guys. Now let's get to the meat of the box set, which is well, it's a guide to the hive. So I think one of them is just a gazetteer. So really, I think the cards seem to be the rule book, and this seems to be, I mean, maybe it's like a very directed kind of play, you know, learn as you go type of adventure. So this right here, this book is sort of a gazetteer of the hive, Rockhearth. Um, so, which is interesting. So where it is, factions and powers as well. So here, some factions and powers and the noble houses that exist. Here, the guilds, commerce and culture. Right, so here's some of the guilds and then commerce and culture chapter. It does consist of the factions and power, commerce and culture, sort of the actual gazetteer villains and powers. So here's right. So how does it work? The different reference sheets. So it has yeah, so commerce and culture, but then it gives you like a little box text of what to reference when you're looking this up. So that'd be commerce and culture, open markets, black markets, how people are sustained, shelter, etc. Here's the high self and how you can get around in it. There's a spire, right? So there's the low hive and the spire here. And then encounter charts and different descriptions of what's going on. Here's some things about the upper hive as well. And right here's upper hive encounters, encounter charts, and a little map. So lower hive. This is the gazetteer part, and here's like the map of the lower hive and numbered locations, which is kind of cool. Lower hive encounters and all sorts of different hooks. Like those little boxes are like all the different hooks that can be found or can occur there. So you don't have to just run the adventure. And then the bowels of the hive here, yeah, the bowels of the hive, which is kind of fun. Again, another map, bowel encounters, etc. So you could really explore this city as you go, or this hive as you go through the adventure. So villains on the planet, on Vol, the different cults that are there, and what they're about. And there's some stats for some villains as well, which is kind of cool. And here are the different. Here's a summary in the back of the different powers. So this is a nice. Well, it's like the art for 40K and fantasy. The artist here, the cover art is Alvaro Jimenez Hernandez. Here, is that the? I don't know if that was the actual cover. Yeah, it's the same cover as the box. This one here for the hive. That's kind of cool. And then finally, the adventure, the Blazing Seraph. So, right, it looks like it's in 4 parts. Gives you an intro. I'm probably not going to show this so much, so it'll spoil it. But it ranks in at 47, 48 pages. And it has like sections of the bestiary for the adventure, acronyms that the reviews, the summary. It is kind of, so here's an example here. Early on, I'll just show you this, but here's where you make a test and how you do it and stuff and what that means. And give examples all the way through GM advice for the box test, how to, GM advice is located various places, NPC bios as well, and how to use them, which is kind of nice. Various of the sort of black and white or sepia colored pictures that give you the mood and what happens, which is kind of nice as well. So yeah, so pretty cool little adventure to start off. And then the epilogue. So the epilogue has the XP that you would get for doing things. And then the bestiary it gives you the name, size, characteristics, combat abilities, explains everything. Very nice. So it's pretty cool with pictures all around and then secrets. And then here's a nice sort of 3D map of the hive. Sort of the, what is that called? Vertical schematic, poetic schematic of the hive, we'll call it. So a pretty thorough and advanced, I would say, box set, and I would say well worth your time in getting it if you want to get into Imperium Maledictum. Right, it just has, again, it has pre-gens and the rules book for all those cards, so that, it'd be great to play at the table, and it'd be cool to be able to reusability. I don't know. If you all want to introduce someone to Imperium Maledictum, maybe I should carry this around just in case my groups don't have a quorum to meet and we'll just play this. Although I think this is after we finish Warhammer Fantasy and move then, this is the next on the docket. So we'll probably start with the starter set, make our way through Chemical Burn, and then go from there, whether it becomes player-derived type adventures or hooks that are encountered in the hive, or one of the pre-published adventures that they put out. And it depends on where the stars take us, or the warp takes us. So, or the Inquisition will take us. Anyway, this has been Imperium Maledictum open box and a mini look at, mini preview. So check it out. Of course, Cubicle 7 does the Warhammer universe role-playing games right now. You can get this at Cubicle 7. It's out now. I pre-ordered it back in January and received it right about first quarter here, so like early February. So it's definitely out. Check it out. All right, so this has been What's in the Box with the GM Knowledge Presents. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you soon.